In Insider today, we have the pleasure of welcoming chia-you Guo. Welcome to the studio, chia-you.
Thank you for having me.
Chia-you is in some ways our boss here at RTI. She sits on the board of directors, but she's also the founder and president of Taiwan Digital Diplomacy Association. What's digital diplomacy? I'll be speaking to chia-you about how social media can boost Taiwan's soft power. Later on, we'll be seeing how medical authorities are responding to the rise of subvariants of Omicron in Taiwan and how that threatens Taiwan's plan to reopen. And in #Taiwan, Leslie will tell you about the Taiwanese horror movie that's scaring its way up Netflix's charts.
This is Taiwan Insider.
Let's get started. Welcome to the show. Now, the word diplomacy brings to mind a lot of things. Grand embassy buildings, international summits, the UN. But what about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? These are the tools of modern statecraft, and one organization in Taiwan knows best how to use them. They say football is a universal language, so if you want to get people talking, give them a ball and get them on a pitch. That's just what Taiwan Digital Diplomacy Association did. In 2020 and 2021, the association helped organize 2 multi-day tournaments featuring food, dancing and music, as well as football teams from around the world. And it wouldn't be diplomacy without the diplomats. Association President chia-you Guo says the event is about bringing people together.
Our mission for this soccer game, it is an event for enhancing the international friendship. The fact of your presence despite the rain and wind represent our determination to connect Taiwan with the world.
Guo and her team have also helped organize Norwegian National Day marches and Caribbean cultural fairs. The result was a flurry of media coverage. Online, too, the association has used social media to promote Taiwan's perspective on a growing friendship with India and solidarity with Ukraine. That comes as China picks off Taiwan's remaining diplomatic allies. In the last 5 years, 6 countries have switched to recognize Beijing. Now, just 14 have official ties with Taiwan. Taiwan Digital Diplomacy is trying a new grassroots way of building relations, one that they hope will win Taiwan valuable international support. And I'm joined in the studio by Taiwan Digital Diplomacy founder chia-you Guo. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Now, first off, I think it's important, to talk about how we define these terms. And digital diplomacy is not a term that many of our viewers will be familiar with.
Yeah.
So, first off, what is digital diplomacy, and why does Taiwan need it?
Okay. I think digital diplomacy is an approach to build global network. By global network, I mean the global network of content sharing, because in today's era, like everyone are producing a lot of contents on social media, and some of the content they can represent your country's image. And in digital diplomacy, we are seeking like global partners to share the positive image about our country, and also we want to increase the exposures of our country in other citizens, like on social media or on traditional media, just to increase the exposure in the international world. And I think Taiwan really needs it because everyone knows Taiwan is in a very difficult situation in the international politics, and for Taiwanese, I think the young people we really have the urge to look for more chance to let foreigners to talk about Taiwan or to know more about Taiwan. But like maybe in other countries they are not so urgent because diplomacy in other countries are in a normal situation. But for Taiwanese, because we're in this kind of situation, so we have to find a more flexible and a more efficient way to promote our image in the international world.
A lot of people drawing parallels between kind of Ukraine and Taiwan at this time. I mean, it's countless articles about that. Has what you do changed since the Ukraine war began?
Yeah, I think the atmosphere in Taiwan has changed a lot after the Ukraine war, because you can see that many government sectors start to discuss about maybe we should do military exercise, or maybe we should increase the awareness of Taiwanese civil society about how to defend on internet or how to defend physically. So you can see many discussion started to appear in Taiwanese civil society. So I think Ukraine war, the biggest change for us is like we started to receive some demands, like we can do research about how social media play this role in Ukraine war, and how like global politicians, they use social network to strengthen the democratic alliance. So this is something Taiwan can learn from Ukraine. That is, I would say, yeah, it changed a lot for our work.
Yeah, I mean, because you make a good point that I think a lot of people talked about how Ukraine was kind of winning the battle for hearts and minds. We say, like they were, their social media content. They have that official Ukraine account. Obviously, Volodymyr Zelensky very active on Twitter as well. I mean, how has that changed? I mean, what specific lessons do you think that we can draw from that, or that Taiwan can draw from that?
I think what we can learn from Ukraine is that how the government can collaborate with the civil society, like the way they coordinate is really well, and how to prepare ourselves for the like it might coming, like some risk might coming, like international risk might coming. So how we prepare for the international conflicts, like how to prepare our civil society network, and how to prepare the information security or internet security. We can learn a lot from Ukraine people. And I usually and I also see that Ukraine people they are very willing to share their experience online. This is noble, I think, because if I'm in war, maybe I don't have the time or I don't have the mood to share everything with other people. But Ukraine people, you can see they are really willing to share the experience to help other democratic countries. So I think Taiwanese should appreciate that and to learn more from what they share on the internet. Yeah.
So, we're kind of entering an age, I think it's fair to say now, where a lot of industries are kind of, or depending on your perspective, being democratized, where anyone now can become a singer and a famous singer without having a record deal, because social media. You can become a kind of citizen journalist just by sitting behind your computer and doing online investigations. And now, what you're doing comes across sometimes as, anyone can be a diplomat. We have this kind of citizen diplomacy. Are we entering an age now where the older traditional style of diplomacy, of kind of meetings behind closed doors and world leaders, are we entering an age where that's not so important and really it's about citizen diplomats? Or are they always going to be necessary?
I think it is going to be this way. You're right, and in now today, like everyone can be your diplomat of your country, because you are the channel of your country on social media, or maybe you just know some foreign friends. You are the channel of your country. So I think in the future, diplomacy would be like, everyone can be the diplomats, because you are a part of the channel and you are also a part of global network.
And so for you going forward, what are the next steps for Taiwan Digital Diplomacy Association?
We will have a crowdfunding event in August, and we will design some courses for Taiwanese civil society, like how to create the content that the international audience would like to see, and also we will have some discussion, also do some policy advices to Taiwanese government about what we can learn from the Ukraine government. So I think there are a lot of works that we are going to do, and the first thing would be like we are also helping Meta to open online courses and offline courses for all the nonprofit organization worker and foreign mission diplomats in Taiwan, to discuss about how to use social media to create a stronger network together. So this is what we're going to do this year. Thank you.
Brilliant. Chia-you, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Now, as Taiwan Digital Diplomacy Association is using Taiwan's soft power, Taiwan's film industry is using supernatural powers to break box office records. Leslie Liao delves into a Taiwanese horror film that's blowing up on Netflix in #Taiwan.
This week, we're going to be talking about a scary movie. That's right, we're talking about spooky stuff again for the third time in 4 weeks. And I really didn't plan it this way, but seeing how Ghost Month in Taiwan is coming up in early August, I figured I'd just go with it. Netflix. Have you heard of it? It's a huge video streaming service where people can watch movies and TV shows. We're talking about Netflix this week because a Taiwanese movie has spooked its way onto Netflix's charts. Incantation is a Taiwan-made found footage horror movie. It was vastly popular in Taiwan when the movie had its theatrical release back in March. The movie made about 170 million new Taiwan dollars at the domestic box office, which is about 5.7 million US dollars. It's one of the highest performing locally made movies, and it's also the very first Taiwan-made found footage horror film. This past week, news surfaced that Incantation found international success on Netflix. At one point, the film was the third most popular non-English movie on the streaming platform. According to Netflix, between July 11th and 17th, Incantation had racked up over 10 million hours of watch time from viewers. On July 19th, the movie was the 8th most watched movie on Netflix, period. It was the most popular movie in places like Taiwan, obviously, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Japan, and Vietnam. Incantation's international success on Netflix comes as a bit of a surprise because the movie contains many religious and cultural aspects that are specific to Taiwan. And you might think that the movie's appeal is translatable to the countries that we mentioned because they're close to Taiwan at least, but the movie has also proven popular in places like Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, and Honduras. Are there religious and cultural connections between Taiwan and Latin America? None that stand out to me explicitly, so I find it kinda cool that the movie is proving popular over there. Maybe there's something universally appealing about scaring the pants off of yourself for no reason. Incantation is shot in the style of found footage, which means that it just looks like someone's home movies. The movie is about a group of people who visit the sacred grounds of a cult-like religion. Along the way, they break taboos, barge into forbidden areas, and witness rituals, all for the sake of their internet channel. Once they leave the sacred grounds, they bring about a curse and are haunted by malevolent entities. There's possession, exorcisms, and all that other fun stuff. Oh, and it's also based on a true story about a family involved in a religious cult that committed a string of heinous crimes. I mean, I'm not gonna watch it. I know I don't have the constitution to stomach these kinds of things. If you watch it, don't let me know because I don't wanna. I mean, scaring yourself for entertainment is a great way to shave seconds off of your precious life. But all the same, I'm proud the world is enjoying something Taiwanese, even if that something is made to scare people senseless. President Tsai Ing-wen recently said that she wants to restart inbound tourism. But Taiwan's health authorities have recently discovered cases of the highly infectious COVID-19 Omicron subvariant BA.5 circulating within the country. Will this affect Taiwan's plans to reopen? Well, one health authority doesn't think so. The COVID-19 Omicron BA.5 subvariant is now circulating within Taiwan. Just when it seemed like Taiwan's borders were on the cusp of reopening, many are wondering if this contagious strain of the disease will shutter those plans. NTU public health professor Chen Xiuxi thinks there's not much reason to worry. He says that recently, Singapore and Japan have seen less than 20 COVID-19 related deaths a day in their BA.5 waves. Chen says that while the subvariant is more contagious, its symptoms aren't as severe. He says that Taiwan may see a rise in case numbers, but few people will get seriously ill. Chen says Taiwan's subvariant wave will begin around mid to late August, but he says that these milder strains should not affect Taiwan's plans to open back up. For vaccinations, Chen says that the country does not need to be too strict about administering second booster shots, but he says that people over 65 and those with chronic illnesses should be getting fourth jabs. Experts agree that a rush of new cases will hit Taiwan soon, but the country's resolve to start living with COVID shows no signs of faltering. And before we go back to the studio for our final question of the week, here's a look at some of the other stories that are on our radar.
The 38th annual Hangguang military exercise is scheduled to begin next week. All branches of the military will participate in the drills, which aim to boost Taiwan's combat readiness against an attack from China. Drill rehearsals began days before the official start of the exercise. The military simulated an invasion landing at Danshui River mouth on Thursday. Attack and transport helicopters as well as the Coast Guard played the part of enemy forces. The Financial Times reported on Tuesday that US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi plans to visit Taiwan next month. Previous media reports suggested she had intended to visit Taiwan in April as part of a trip to Asia but had to cancel after testing positive for COVID-19. Taiwan's foreign ministry says inviting US lawmakers to Taiwan is a long-standing priority, but it could not confirm Pelosi's trip. A footbridge near Taipei 101, Taiwan's tallest and most recognized building, is being torn down. It's located at one of Taipei's busiest intersections. The spot was very popular with photographers for offering unrivaled cityscapes. Taipei authorities made the decision to remove the walkway for traffic and safety reasons after an assessment last year.
And we're back in the studio for our final question of the week. Stash, the boys have been in town. They're still here.
They're still in town.
They will remain.
For the time being.
For the time being.
For the time being, they're in
Probably
town.
not the case next week.
Probably not. We'll see.
Anyway, for the question of the week, you saw my hashtag. We talked about a scary movie. I'm not going to watch it. I don't like scaring myself for entertainment.
Well, I know what's not going to be on your board then.
No, absolutely not. So here's my question. What's your favorite Taiwanese movie, horror or not?
My favorite Taiwanese movie, I actually couldn't fit the title. It's called Blue Gate Crossing, or 蓝色大门 in Mandarin.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's a really cool, it's a nice kind of indie movie filmed around 2002. It's a love triangle set in high school. It's just very beautifully filmed. It's got really nice music and some really kind of interesting kind of poetic kind of style script. So yeah, big fan of that one.
And you're an actor, right? So you kind of what good acting
I
and
know,
what good movies are,
cinema.
right?
No.
For me though, I'm gonna go same thing. I couldn't fit it on here, so I had to go with the Chinese name.
I was thinking of doing that.
卧虎藏龙 or Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Now this is kind of controversial because it wasn't exactly a Taiwanese movie per se. However, it was nominated for 10 Academy Awards. One of the Academy Awards it won was Best Foreign Film. And the Best Foreign Film, that award actually went to Taiwan.
Oh, really?
So I am taking this one for Taiwan.
Oh, I mean, yeah, absolutely then.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Taiwanese movie, Taiwanese director, Yang Li. And that's my favorite Taiwanese movie. And if this is your favorite movie, well, know now that it is Taiwanese. I'm claiming it. Anyway, that's about all the time we have for this edition of Taiwan Insider. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Leslie Liao.
I'm Staś Butler. Make sure you follow us on our social media channels. Catch us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
Also on Twitter, you can message us, tweet at us, tell us what you think of the show, leave us a question, or just tell us about your day. Anyway, guys, until next week, see you around.
Bye.